slog through books. So this is a modern thing and the thing, and I think it's a very sensible thing to do. So I'm thankful to you for that. Okay. As far as my media interaction earlier during this ops is concerned, it's an unsolicited question, but I want to answer here because some media people are here.
Sure.
I was always very grateful to the media people because so many of them were my very close friends at that point of time. They let me handle the ops. They never came and interfered with too much of bites and tips and what's happening and updates. I was left in total peace with all my dear friends, right from Jennifer Arul to Prabhu, so many hundreds of people from Chennai. That was one pleasant thing I had. They gave me the complete autonomy to be doing, except the local stringers of Satyamangala. So, yeah.
Great. I'd like to ask the podcast was, and I'm sure you've been asked this before, but what was that experience like? And specifically, you talk about, and I think this is a recurring theme in the podcast, you talk about the sense of responsibility that you felt towards your men, towards your team. How much of this was a kind of a factor running through your mind in these moments leading up to the encounter?
So whenever I think back of this picture and thing, I keep reminding myself I should not be self-delusional, because after a certain point of time you start thinking that you have done it. So I always remind myself that when I run through that moment, 10:50 to 11:10 is a critical 20 minutes. But every minute which preceded that, how I left Satyamangalam and got into the jeep and drove in the jeep which was Walter was using it. Walter Davaram is a very illustrious police officer, my predecessor, who has done a lot of work here. Who was my driver? What all happened? Where was my gun? I had a pistol here and my AK-47 there. What all I was thinking, and when I reached the place, people were given one apple and two bread slices. That was the dinner for most of them. I did not have that. I mean, not that great sacrifice. I'm just mentioning the small moments, the micro seconds of that entire night is still with me. Very proudly, not my long-term memory may be very sharp sometimes. You may forget what happened to you yesterday. As you age, that's what happens. It's not just long-term memory. It's a feeling of gratitude for the kind of people who are involved there, what each was doing. On that night before going there, we were at a place called Dharmapuri, Travelers Bungalow. And that is where a lot of things happen finally, putting things in place. So when you say the honest or the sense of weight on you as a leader, that if you make a mistake, the entire thing is on you. Frankly, throughout my police career, people have been carrying me on the shoulders. I had that luck to be a leader because except for the first 10 years where I really had to show that yes, I am here, rest of the time the velocity was given by the department, my colleagues. They always trusted me and they had fantastic people like Walter Davaram to lead this force, Shankar Bidari from Karnataka. When I took over, it was a big weight on me, but I never felt the burden so much because these guys were willing to slog. So if you say that sense of responsibility, I have a knack of entering into partnership with the Providence, the man upstairs, that I really believe that whatever the human being tries his best, there are certain factors which come into play which can be beyond your control. On that night also, things could have really gone out of our hands, but it did not. It was very much within our grasp. More than anything else, a sense of faith in yourself and the team, that was one. Secondly, I had that mulish or very obstinate confidence, that very adamant faith that we will achieve it. That was the only thing which kept me going, to sum it up.
And just to follow up to that, there were so many near misses, so many sort of close encounters, and he always seemed to, and as you listen to the podcast, I think you really realize how many times Mr. Vijay Kumar and team came perilously close to catching him, only for him to slip away in the last minute. It was almost like, as you said, Providence or whatever sort of otherworldly forces may be at play. So, did that add to the sense of insecurity that, is this again going to be a missed attempt?
Yeah, I knew that this guy is very, very capable of getting out of your hands. It's very eel-like, elusive, not easy to grasp and grapple with. But I also believe the cat has got 9 lives. You cannot have indefinite number of lives. He has already exhausted many of his luck. On a single day, this looked like a very, actually a fictitious or a matter of fiction book. On a single day, there were 2 encounters with him, single day. It's also there in one of the chapters. In one, the Karnataka police missed him. In Hindi, you say, Amne Samne. Tamil, but in the distance, he escaped. The Nayak, Karnataka, one team assistant commandant, a good friend of mine, an absolutely dedicated officer. He had gone and he was resting near a rock, and his people had gone round the corner to pee. Suddenly they found some rustle in the bushes, and out comes Veerappan. He was also on a similar mission. He was also easing himself and coming out. This Nayak himself saw him and he lifted his gun and he was about to shoot. That man was about to lift his gun. For some reason, I don't know what happened that day. It's these are all things incredible. You will think normally, how can it happen? It's like in a X-film or these movies with very funny things happen which are not easy to believe. They miss each other, and when he tries to squeeze the gun, that fellow has already jumped away from a rock and disappeared. Along with him, 3-4 fellows. They did not fire a single shot on that day, and in spite of this close encounter. Same evening, that's a border village within Karnataka. Our officers get a news that he has ordered pancake, that is dosha. Yes, Veerappan has asked a particular house to prepare dosha and is going to come there. So our people went. Mr. Hussain, he is a ADSP retired, or SP retired, he is here in Rayapeta. Fantastic chap, excellent hunter, cook, gunsmith, and a multitasking kind of guy. He comes out with beautiful jungle cuisines. He bakes, he cooks, he does everything with nothing. With what is available locally, he can live off the land, that kind of chap. He leads the team, and they come and lie in wait 100 meters away from that particular house, 100-200 meters away from the house. And they see there is no electricity there, some vague light there, and they think this is the time, and they start approaching. When they start approaching, suddenly there is a gunshot. When they get a gunshot, they are a little shocked. They get up and start running to that house. What has happened is, this gunshot was not from Veerappan, not from STF. There is a farmer who is every day bothered by the wild boar. Wild boar come and, wild boar are vermin. They come and destroy, they are very, very destructive. Like peacocks are also very destructive. Wild boar are destructive. Porcupine is very destructive. Elephants are destructive in different sense. But the wild boars are one of the most destructive. They plow into the land and eat away all this beetroot, the root of the potato, root, any root will eat away. So this fellow was troubled by that, and he was waiting every day to kill as many boars. Not one boar, they come in 10-15 on them. So when he found it, he opened the gun, and that house was very close to this dosha point. Now when that fellow opened the gun, the man eating the dosha here, Veerappan and Padi, they got alerted and they ran away. So by the time our people approached, they had disappeared. So there was a gap. So on the same day, there were 2 misses. So you are absolutely correct. My take was that since he has been missed so long and so many times, I will be in a bit of luck. That was my hope and faith.
And it turned out pretty well.
Turned out well.
So, attack, right? At least, again as a...
Because they are very sure this fellow is coming. Island Mix is a very slushy, dirty spot. And in the night, one day, he is having some problem of stomach. And the other said he should have opened up the sentry, told him, and then gone. He makes a small mistake. He goes round the corner, he goes for his bathroom or something, and he's coming. He used to pan, used to have this vetala, pan chewing habit. And he was all the time chewing. So when he came, the other fellow was sleeping, and suddenly he got up and he saw the shootout. By mistake, he asked him, but this guy did not properly reply. He took it easy. He said, something he said. By the time, out of panic or shock, he shot his own dearest friend. That is the biggest loss we had, because Kumar was a fabulous chap. In one incident, when about 2,000 people came mob to attack the police, he took out, not his gun, he took out a arwal, sickle, put a line, and told, if anybody got the guts cross this, then I will shoot them. Nobody crossed it. It happened in Nallur village, which is a Tamilian and Karnataka village. That was Kumar. He was a truck driver before he became a policeman. And he had only one memory when he died. He said, look after my sister. Because he was very passionate about looking after, he just look after my sister. And what happened to this boy who shot him? He became half mad. We tried to, not me, my teammates, earlier people, they tried to console him. They tried to tell him that this could have happened, this is not your fault. Because when you woke up, you saw him, you challenged at the open fire. But he was inconsolable. He could not be convinced. He left the force and went away. This was one of the most traumatic incidents within STF. So, you know, 124 பேர்கள் எஃப்ஐஆர் இருக்காங்க. அதெல்லாமே மற்றவங்க நிறைய பேர் இருக்காங்க. Including 44 foresters and policemen. It is my duty to get into that operation, that's all. But he was definitely involved with those people. அது ஒரு தனியான ஒரு பெரம்பலூர் திருச்சி அந்த பகுதியில் சில பேர் வந்து அங்கேயே தங்கி இருந்து இவர்கள் அந்த காட்டினுடைய பாதுகாப்பில் இவருடைய கண்ட்ரோலில் மியூச்சுவல் சப்போர்ட்டில் இருந்திருக்காங்க. அது சந்தேகமே இல்லை. ஆனால் அந்த வாக்குவாதத்திலேயோ அந்த இதிலே நான் செல்ல விரும்பவில்லை. அது வந்து ஒரு பற்று ஏற்பட்டு தவறான வழியில் அது போய்விட்டால் அதில் பிரச்சனை இல்லை. நம்ம பிரச்சனை லா அண்ட் ஆர்டர் சம்பந்தப்பட்ட சில பிரச்சனைகள். அதனால தான் நம்ம ஆப்ரேஷன் எஸ்டிஎஃப். நாங்கள் எஸ்டிஎஃப்ல we never diverted our focus. There are three things connected words: moral, morality, morale. Morale என்பது ஒரு ஃபோர்ஸ்னுடைய உற்சாகம், that zeal, ebullience, fervor. We were concerned about our morale and we were concerned about public morale not going down. Morality, இதனுடைய பல பேர்கள் பற்றி பல விதமான விஷயங்கள் வந்தபோது கூட நான் அதை பற்றி கவலையப்பட்டேன். அவனுடைய மொராலிட்டி சரியில்லை, அவன் அப்படிப்பட்டவன் இப்படிப்பட்டவன் வரும்போது பல விதமான இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் எங்களுக்கு வந்துச்சு. வீரப்பனை பற்றி சொல்லவில்லை, சம்பந்தப்பட்ட பல பேர்களும் அவர் அது வாங்கிட்டார், அது பண்ணிட்டார், தவறு பண்ணிட்டார். அந்த இதுக்கு நாங்கள் சர்ச்சைகளும் சொல்லவில்லை. we were focused, டனல் விஷன் மாதிரி இதில் மட்டும்தான் நாங்கள் இதாகும். அதனால தான் நாங்கள் எங்கள் டீம் கொஞ்சம் எந்த விதமான மற்ற பிரச்சனைகள் எல்லாம் செய்ய முடிந்தது. பயந்து வராதவங்க வந்து ரொம்ப என்னுடைய பார்வையில் அப்படிப்பட்ட வராது. நான் வந்து அந்த மாதிரி பயந்து வராதவங்க, I have never seen a man, because my eyes don't search for the fellow who is a cover. ஒரு கூட்டத்தில் I don't look for a man who is a cover, I look for a man who is brave. So I am oblivious, I am blind to cowardice. I am cowardice blind. So I am unable to reply a question whether people hesitated out of fear for their lives. But people hesitated for fear of failure. அதாவது இது செய்ய முடியாத காரியம் 10-20 ஆண்டுகளாக 18 ஆண்டுகளாக நடந்துவிட்டது, 18 years upon. It's not a return on investment, means my personal commitment, if I go, I am not likely to succeed. That kind of cynical feeling, that skeptical feeling that I may not succeed, why should I go? அப்படின்னு சில பேர் வரவில்லை. நீங்கள் தயவுசெய்து யார் அவர்கிட்ட நீங்கள் கேட்காது, அது இங்கே இருக்கட்டும். அந்த மாதிரி தகவல் அதிகமாக பேசப்பட்டு அதனால நான் யோசிக்கிறேன். தமிழ்நாடு போலீஸில் அந்த மாதிரி பயப்பட்டு அப்படியே பிடிச்சிட்டு வந்தாங்க. ஆக்சுவலி after the 250 were taken, more people were jumping into the gun. What was enough? Because these fellows are the one who jumped into the thing first. They want to jump into the fire. I want these fellows, even the idiots, doesn't matter. I don't care about the brilliant man who is thinking, considering and coming. I don't want him because he is thinking, he is ruminating, he is discussing two pros and cons. I don't want him because he is too much of a thinker. I want a fellow who can jump. The moment I say jump, you should jump. That's all. அதனால நான் உங்கள் தெளிவாக சொல்லிட்டேன். பயமாக்குள்ள நான் பார்க்கல. தேங்க்யூ சார். சார் இப்போ எஸ் என்னை பற்றி சில பேர் சொல்கிறது நான் கேட்க மாட்டேன். நீங்கள் என்ன நினைக்கிறாங்க? What do they think of me? I never asked of me. I ask one thing wherever I go. Who are the best people who work here? I never ask who is the bad fellow who served here. Because why bother about it? ஸோ அதனால என்னை பற்றி நான் கேள்வி கேட்கவே என்ன பேசிக்கிறாங்க. பிகாஸ் போலீஸில் வந்து ஒரு ஜில்லா இருக்குது, go to a district. There is a number two called Special Branch Inspector. Special Branch Inspector is the most important custodian of all information and wealth. So he will be very loyal to the SP. SP wife மாதிரி வச்சுக்கலாம். wife வந்து வீட்டில் இவர் வந்து அந்த மாதிரி, அதாவது அந்த அளவுக்கு இன்டிமேட்டாக இருந்தாங்க. சில பேர் கேட்பாங்க என்ன நடக்குது அப்படின்னு கேட்கறது வேற, என்ன பேசிக்கிறாங்க என்னை பற்றி கேட்கறது ரொம்ப தவறு. நம்ம கேள்விப்பட்ட அப்படி இல்லை. என்ன பொறுத்தவரையில் I don't see much of a difference between human being because there is no contradiction in my personality. In that sense, I don't try to pretend. I may smile with you and smile with you, but tomorrow, if you are on the other side, even if it's my brother, I will be saying to you as my brother. That is I think my nature. I don't think it's a great matter of merit. I don't say it very proudly, I am the only guy. No, I don't mean very simple. But that's so, I don't think I put on a different show for doing this thing. Even with all my interactions with public has been very listening. And I don't think because there is one criminal sitting there, I don't look at the whole, I don't generalize, I don't stereotype. I am able to accept so many things happen. Because I am privy to many things which have happened in society, the good, bad and ugly, which happens at the highest level and at the lowest level. One thing I strongly believe is there is a lot of gems and good people below, not so much above, not necessarily everybody on top is very good, no. So since I have seen that, I take it very philosophically and simply. So there is no much difference with the policeman and the personal. But if you ask me what I am very useful at home, I am not very competent at home. I don't contribute much to my home's anything. I am on the own.
Great.